Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to dive right into the biology of why you might feel things, well, just a whole lot more deeply than everyone else. If you find yourself constantly overwhelmed by loud rooms, maybe you're deeply affected by the moods of the people around you, or you're just completely wiped out after a completely normal day of work, listen, you're going to want to pay very close attention to what we've prepared for you today.
You're too sensitive. You need to toughen up and stop taking things so personally. Wow, if you've heard this criticism your entire life, and maybe you've spent years apologizing for your tears, I'm here to tell you that this societal diagnosis, it's completely wrong. You are not a mistake, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with you.
You are not weak. You are a supersensor. Far from having some sort of psychological defect, you actually belong to a group of highly sensitive people who possess a distinct biological hardware upgrade. This isn't just a quirky personality trait. As we'll see throughout this explainer, this is grounded in hard biology and neuroscience.
Okay, let's move right into part 1, your brain in 8K, and look at your high-def processing.
I want you to think of the human brain like a camera. While 80% of the population processes the world in standard, efficient 720p, which, is a perfectly good, efficient picture that gets the job done without taking up too much memory, your brain is entirely different. Your brain is recording in 8K resolution. You are capturing literally every single texture, the subtle hum of the refrigerator, the tiny shift in someone's mood. It's an incredibly high-demand, high-intensity way of recording the world.
So, moving on to Section 2, 3 hardware upgrades. Science actually pinpoints exactly what causes this.
Neuroscience has identified the exact 3 biological traits behind this intense experience. Number 1, low latent inhibition. Number 2, hyperactive mirror neurons. And number 3, depth of processing. These aren't flaws, guys. They are incredibly sophisticated cognitive tools operating inside your mind right now. Let's break each of these down so you can see exactly how your hardware is running.
First up is low latent inhibition. Basically, this is a neurological trait where your brain essentially lacks a standard filter. Because you lack this typical filter that usually just blocks out background data, your brain treats all environmental details as highly relevant. So yes, this absolutely means you easily get overwhelmed by sensory input, but it also means you spot beauty, complex patterns, and creative solutions that everyone else literally walks right past.
To put that into perspective, just look at this number, 90%. Most standard brains are designed to completely ignore 90% of what they see, just to save energy. They treat the background noise as totally irrelevant. But you're processing all of it, all at once. The chair you're sitting on, the ambient room temperature, the exact facial expression of the person all the way across the room. Now, the second upgrade is your hyperactive mirror neurons. These are the neurons responsible for empathy. But for a supersensor, you don't just objectively understand when someone is sad. Your mirror neurons literally simulate their pain within your own body. You aren't just imagining it, you are feeling it physically. It's like being an emotional sponge in a world full of spills.
And the third upgrade is depth of processing. Psychologists sometimes call this the pause-to-check strategy. Have you ever beaten yourself up for hesitating or felt like you're just a really slow decision maker? Well, when you pause, you aren't overthinking. You are running a highly complex computation. You're unconsciously connecting the current moment to past memories and running complex future simulations to ensure the absolute best possible outcome. That is not a bug, that is high-level computation at work.
Which brings us to a really massive question. Think about it. If this 8K resolution makes life so exhausting, why on earth did evolution keep this trait around? If this sensitivity was truly a weakness, natural selection would have completely eliminated it thousands of years ago. But it didn't. It kept it in about 20% of the population. So, why?
That brings us to part 3, the tribe needs you, where we'll look at ancient history to understand your evolutionary role.
Imagine an ancient tribe. You've got the warriors on one side and the royal advisors on the other. Now, while a tribe absolutely needs bold, fast, non-sensitive warriors to hunt and fight, a tribe of only warriors would blindly rush right off a cliff and die. They desperately needed the royal advisors. That's you. You were the ones who sensed the changing weather before the storm hit, or spotted a lying enemy long before the ambush. Your so-called weakness is actually a highly sophisticated early warning system for the whole community.
The real problem is that society today is loud, fast, and incredibly aggressive. It is built almost entirely for the warriors.
which explains exactly why your high-performance system frequently overheats. So the next time you shut down and need to retreat to a dark, quiet room, remember, you aren't being dramatic. Your RAM is simply full. You've processed way too much data, and your system literally just needs a reboot.
Moving to Section 4, Orchids versus Dandelions. This is one of my absolute favorite botanical metaphors.
Consider the difference between dandelions and orchids. Most people out there are like dandelions, right? They're highly resilient and can grow pretty much anywhere, even in a crack in a concrete sidewalk. For years, you've probably blamed yourself for not being a tough dandelion. But the truth is, you are an orchid. Harsh, noisy, toxic environments will always make you wither. You simply weren't built to survive the sidewalk crack.
But here is the incredible upside. It's a biological phenomenon known as vantage sensitivity, and this brilliantly illustrates why you absolutely don't need to toughen up for the sidewalk. When an orchid is placed in a greenhouse with the exact right light, soil, and care, it doesn't just survive, it achieves a level of stunning beauty and complexity that a dandelion could never even dream of. When you curate your environment, you don't just catch up to your peers, you significantly surpass them. Which brings us to our final section, number 5, protecting your superpower. How do we apply this?
Seriously, stop trying to install a tougher filter. The world already has enough numbness. You cannot change your biology, and honestly, you shouldn't want to. Instead, protect your 8K radar by building firm boundaries, carefully curating your environment, and honoring your absolute biological need for silence. I want to leave you with a really fascinating final thought on how you navigate the modern digital world. If you're a digital ghost who logs on, watches, but rarely posts, is that silence really a sign of hidden anxiety? Or, given everything we've just learned about your 8K processing and your need for boundaries, are those walls you've built actually the healthiest, most confident boundary a super sensor can have? Think about that the next time you hesitate to hit publish.